We are in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. You had just confirmed before we left the private session that the reason why you had gone to give false evidence to the investigators was to provide evidence that was designed to prove that the two accused were guilty of the charges.
That doesn't fairly represent the whole thrust of this witness's position.
And also to gain some benefits that were promised to him.
His primary purpose, he's told us, was in order to qualify for benefits that he was informed would accrue to him.
We've got the point, Mr.
And in order to do that, he had to come up with incriminating material in a credible way, and that he did not wish himself the prosecution of either accused.
Yes, Your Honour, and almost all of that has been said in public session already. I was merely trying to include in the public session a matter which I should have actually dealt with in the open, but that represents a fuller summary of, I think, the witness's evidence, for what it's worth. All right. Now, if we can turn over then to page 6, 0036, from paragraph 31, there's a title above that reading, Meeting at Ruto's Place. And I'll read out the first sentence of paragraph 31. In 2007, as part of his campaign, Ruto called 3 meetings at his compound in the old part of the, I won't read the area, you can see that, which I've marked on Annex 1. The meetings were on 3 consecutive days and were for the youth, the women, and the elders. So far, is that correct or is that incorrect?
Ni ya ukweli na kuna sehemu ni ya uongo.
It is correct in part and incorrect in part.
All right, what part is correct?
Kwamba ni mimi nilienda huko, si kwenda.
The part which states that I went to that place is incorrect. I never went there. What is correct is that I heard from those who were there who told me that meetings had been organized within the framework of a campaign and nothing more.
All right, now, Mr. Witness, you really must listen to the questions. I didn't ask you anything about whether or not you had attended. We'll get to that.
That's not quite fair. He asked the witness, my friends asked the witness, which part was correct, which part was incorrect of those, 3 sentences? And he said, well, it's correct, except I didn't attend. He's answered the question.
That's not what the witness said, Your Honours. What the witness said was part of what I read out was correct and part was incorrect. And then he started going on about whether or not he'd attended, but that was not the question. So I think the interruption is really unnecessary at this stage.
Proceed, Ms. Steinberg.
All right, so we have to go over that again. From what you had heard, is it correct that Mr. Ruto called 3 meetings at his compound in the area mentioned as part of his 2007 campaign? Is that right?
Ni ukweli na si kwenda, ni ukweli nilisikia kwa mtu.
It is true that I learned about this from someone else. I did not go there myself.
All right. You've told us twice now that you did not attend. The description then of the events at that meeting in the rest of paragraph 31, 32, 33, and 34. The information there, is that information that you heard from somebody that attended these meetings, or is that false information that you made up as part of your plan to obtain benefits from the ICC?
Tafadhali rudia swali kidogo, sikuelewa.
Please kindly repeat your question. I did not understand it.
In the paragraphs that follow the sentences I've just read, you describe the events that occurred at the meeting at Mr. Ruto's compound, which the statement says you attended. Is that information correct or is it incorrect?
Let's do this. Mr. Steinberg, you were, the witness had anticipated the part about whether or not he attended, and twice he said he did not attend. And you seemed to have difficulty that he had said that before you asked the question. Perhaps we should start from that. So the witness, so we're now, it is your position. Let's start from that point about whether he attended or not, so that he's not confused, because he might have thought you didn't want him to answer that question, but now you're implying it in your question. So let's clear it up so that we're all on the same page, including the witness, and move on.
Very well, Your Honour. So let's just confirm that then. Did I understand you correctly that you did not attend any of these meetings, these 3 meetings at Mr. Ruto's house in 2007? Is that right?
Ndio.
All right. In paragraph 32, you mention that you arrived at 11 a.m. and then you describe that there were approximately 2,000 youths attending. Is it correct that from what you heard, 2,000 youths attended, or is that something which is false?
Nilisikia tu hii 2000 mimi sijui. Nilitunga, lakini kusema mikutano ilitendeka.
I'm not sure about the figure 2000. But what I know and what I learned is that a political meeting had taken place.
All right. Let's move on to paragraph 34. At this paragraph, you describe people who spoke at the meeting, and you refer to an aspiring ODM the aspiring ODM councillors spoke. Farouk Kibet, who was the master of ceremony, also talked. Is that true or is that untrue? Did Mr. Farouk Kibet speak at this meeting?
Si kweli.
It is incorrect.
You then say a certain Mutai spoke. Is that correct?
Si kweli kwa sababu nimesema si kwenda.
It is incorrect. I have already told you that I did not attend.
And you then go on to say that Mr. Ruto spoke for approximately half an hour, and you give some details about what he is supposed to have said. Is any of that correct?
Si ya kweli sababu si kwenda. Sijui.
It is incorrect because I did not go there and I know nothing about it.
What was the purpose of your telling the investigators about what was said at this meeting? What did you want to achieve by that?
Lengo langu ilikuwa ni
My goal was to receive the benefits that I mentioned earlier.
And how was telling the investigators about what was said at this meeting meant to achieve that goal?
nilikuwa nimeambiwa na watu sasa si kujua chenye itakuja tendeka baadaye tena.
Those people told me something, but I was not aware of what the outcome was going to be.
Please explain that.
Kumaanisha kwamba wakati nilikuwa nimeongea na huyu namba 3 na namba 1.
What I'm saying is that at the time of the discussion with number 1 and number 3, they told me something, and what they told me made me to think that 1, the location where I lived did not have to be known. 2, my statement needed to be credible in order for the impression to be given that I knew what I was talking about. But the reality was absolutely not in those terms.
Let's try and move on a bit more swiftly. The next heading is, above paragraph 35, is meeting at Farouk Kibet's home. I'll read the first couple of sentences of paragraph 35, quote, I attended another meeting that took place at Farouk Kibet's home. I do not remember when it took place, but I think that it was between September and November 2007. And I will stop there because the rest may be identifying. Is that correct? Did you attend a meeting at Farouk Kibet's home between September and November 2007?
Hapana, si kweli.
No, that is incorrect. That information came from person number 3.
And thereafter you go on to describe in a further 10 paragraphs the events that took place at this alleged meeting. Where did that information come from?
Ilitoka wakati tumekuwa kwa hoteli na hii watu namba 1 na namba 3. Haya mambo yote.
That happened when we were at the hotel with person number 1 and number 3. So the information comes from those 2 persons.
So to confirm my question, is it all the information in this section came from those 2 persons? Is that right?
Ndivyo sir.
Yes, Mr. Prosecutor.
Sababu sijui hata huyu mtu huyu namba.
Let me explain myself. Person number, well, I see somebody's name here. I don't know this person's name, and I have never been to that person's house.
All right. Well, I'm interested for the moment in what happened at Mr. Farouk Kibet's house. The court will bear with me, please. Your Honours, I see, as I'm searching for my next question, that it's 1 o'clock. Perhaps we can take the adjournment now.
Yes, we will take the adjournment here and come back in 1.5 hours. A witness, we will take a break, and that will give you some time to rest, and we will come back in 1.5 hours. Hopefully the prosecution will finish by the end of the day, we hope, but we expect you back in 1.5 hours. During that time, during the time of break, do not discuss your testimony with anybody. All right?
Nakuelewa, Mr. President.
Thank you. So we'll see.
The witness, yes, I've understood.
It's very much, it's entirely a matter of the court, but
Witness.
from a friend, for everyone, if the witness reminds himself of the contents of his statement. He's been through it. Well, he may have been through it. He said he didn't go through it adequately with VWU.
Do you have any difficulty with that suggestion, Mr. Steinberg?
No, Your Honours, if it removes any doubt as to the adequacy of the witness's preparation, to the extent that such doubt might exist, I'm happy with that.
Witness, do you have the paper copy of your statement?
Ndivyo.
Okay.
The witness, yes.
Yes. You may take it along and review it during the lunch break if you like. But take care to not leave it lying around all over the place, depending on where you go. Do you understand?
Nakuelewa, Mr. President.
Can I?
The witness, yes, I have understood, Your Honor.
I don't intend or hope that the witness feels under pressure. He should have a proper break between now and this afternoon's session. And there's 14 pages here. I appreciate that, but it may be of some assistance.
Thank you, Your Honour. Just one other thing. I suppose it goes without saying that he's not to discuss the contents with anybody else.
Yes, do not discuss the content of that statement with anybody. And also, do not feel that you must review the statement yourself. It's up to you if you want to do it. We want you to return in 1.5 hours to continue your testimony. So do try and get some break during that time. If you want to have your break and not look at your statement, that's entirely up to you. But you have the statement with you. You should feel free to review it if you want during the break. All right? I think we have to go.
Just one very brief matter. I wonder if we could have 5 or 10 minutes, either before, just after lunch or at the end of the day, to address you on a scheduling matter. I had discussions with my learned friend, Mr. Steinberg, yesterday. So if that could be accommodated, it would be very much appreciated.
We should do that towards the end of the day.
I'm grateful.
Yes. The court will rise now.
All rise.